This is Monsters on the Mic on the Fan 106.5, giving you exclusive insider access to coaches and players for Duluth's Minnesota Monsters football team. Recorded weekly at Lyric Kitchen Bar in downtown Duluth. Now here's your hosts, Brian Prudhomme and Dave Cook.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monsters on the Mic, third such rendition. Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook, third time's a charm. Dave, are we going to get our best show yet?
Yes, we will. We are going to have a fantastic show. We're going to have multiple guests today. We're going to be talking to a team that's on the rise. So, yeah, it's going to be great.
It is going to be great because you talk about being on a rise. What helps you do that is winning games. And the Monsters did their first one of that variety. Michigan didn't have enough in their arsenal to take care of the Monsters.
Nice. I see how you did that there. No,
game is strong.
You know, we've talked to these guys for quite a while, and you know the one thing we knew wasn't going to happen is they weren't going to win any more games because we know the heart of the champion, right? And we've seen it, and they faced a team that was ready for them, and they got an interception on a touchdown where the guy had the ball in the end zone before it was ripped away from him.
That is the kind of play-by-play that we know and love from Dave Cook. One thing we know about the Monsters is something good happens when Javonte is involved.
Yes.
Didn't matter if it was Haynes, didn't matter if it was Johnson. Something with Javonte was going to go rather well.
Well, and, you know, maybe that's a message to all future people interested in the Monsters as time goes on. They're filling out their application. Regardless of what the first name is, they're in Javonte.
Right, if you drop a reference and say, I know Javonte, you've got a chance. Meanwhile, the other thing that these guys know is the road because it's the only type of game they've played to this point. And if you like long road trips, boy, they got a doozy this week.
Yeah, no doubt, right? We're going to Oceanside.
Yes.
That's going to be
And you joked which ocean.
Yeah, right. I was trying to figure out if that's New Jersey or if that's the California Oceanside.
Or the Arctic.
Oh, yes.
That's what it feels like outside in Duluth. That's why we're not home yet.
That's why we're not That's also why we're not outside doing the show.
Absolutely. We are inside Lyric Kitchen Bar in the lobby area. How we do this is we do this on Wednesday nights. It's a live recording, which is the ultimate contradiction in terms.
Yeah, right, because we shall be live to our friends. Howie's here. And we will be able to be heard Thursday night and right before the game. So we're going to bring a little bit of pregame to the game on Sunday this week.
Yeah, it's a Sunday game. Everybody talks about wanting to be in a league that plays on Sundays. Lo and behold, the Monsters are there now.
Absolutely.
So the Bombers are next on the agenda. Next on our agenda, we'll be talking to Javonte Haynes. Not just a great player for the Minnesota Monsters, but a great player in the league, special teams player of the week.
Right, in a league where special teams is a little squirrely. You know, picking things up off the nets, figuring that out the whole time.
Speaking of figuring things out, we want to make sure as Dave Cook is pushing all the right buttons, we hope that Javonte, you can hear us, your headset's working. So let's start with that. Special teams player of the week. In this league, some people just want to know what does special teams consist of because you're playing footballs all over the place. There's some rules to know. Special teams is an art.
Definitely. Important part of the game. Special teams consist of kickoff return, field goal block. Just important parts of the game.
So you're a defensive back by traits, but you made an impact in the special teams game. Mm-hmm. Everybody takes pride in what they do well. Do you have a favorite part of what you do well?
Being myself, for real. I know what I bring to the game. I know what I could do. So, just being myself and bringing that to the game.
You know, we've talked with the guys about this being a championship mindset team. Mm-hmm. Special teams. Tell me about the championship mindset that goes behind somebody who not only plays it, but plays it to the level you do. How do you bring that to the game?
I think you should take pride in everything you do. You know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So whether I'm playing defense, special teams, or, coach give me a shot on offense, I'm going to take it.
Now, he looked right at his coach, and he smiled, and I think there was some impact to that statement. Was that an ask rather than a maybe of, I'd like a shot on offense?
Nah, just something to keep in the back of his mind.
Stick in the back of his mind.
Just giving him a little more strategy as it comes. So let's talk a little bit about the skills that transfer over. What is it about being a DB that makes a good special teamer? Because a lot of different guys do that.
Being aggressive, being able to break down, tackle, being agile, being able to be a football player all around.
They talk about defensive backs, quicks versus speed necessarily. Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself in this league thinking quicks are probably more important than just flat-out burner speed?
I would agree to that.
Not necessarily? Okay.
I would agree to that.
You put them deep in thought. Radio's not a visual medium, but you could tell that he was pondering that one. Let's talk a little bit about this league in general. What have you noticed about the caliber of player? Because Duluth has had indoor arena football before, but we're in a different league, and people are getting used to what are we expecting in terms of caliber player? Bigger, faster, stronger? What are we looking at?
I would say all of the above, especially now that we got linemen in the league. So it's definitely a little bit different, and bringing in a different skill set of players. So it's a little bit different. I wouldn't say necessarily you have to be so much bigger and faster, but you got to be a better athlete overall.
So what has surprised you then with the league so far? Anything stand out that you kind of looked at and went, huh?
I played in the league before, so nah, not really.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's just football. I'm real comfortable playing football.
Yeah.
So it's just second nature to me.
Speaking of comfortable, speaking of second nature, good choice of words, because I can't ask you about first impressions of Duluth. You've been there, done that. About second impressions of Duluth. What's it like being back?
That was good. Love the town. The town loved me, so it was good.
I like that second part. Love the town,
absolutely.
but the town absolutely loves you. No doubt about it. So having been here before, are you used to this wonderful, balmy 45 degrees? As Prince said, sometimes it snows in April. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel like I've been in winter since winter started. So, PA's pretty cold, too. I live out there, so left in the cold. I've been in the cold out here.
So it fits
Sorta
you
get
well.
used to it.
Let's talk a little bit about that as well, because I could sit there and say, Javonte Haynes, you went to Indiana. And that would be correct, but not the Indiana most people think of.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that collegiate experience.
I went to Indiana University, Pennsylvania, IUP. It was a great experience for me. Started my true freshman year. It was a good experience, to be honest.
So I got to hit him with the hard-hitting Pennsylvania
it's time.
question. Steelers or Eagles?
I'm a Giants fan. I was born in New York.
Nice. A Giants fan in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And he's still alive to talk about it. So tell me this. Cam Scatterbo, could you stop him or not?
For sure.
Confidence does not lack for Javonte Haynes. I like it.
No, I like that. But, Gadaboo, he's a sitting target, right? Your quicks and speeds.
Yeah.
He's just a hard head guy.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me this. Because most people look at DBs as, pass coverage, guys that have to fly. You got to come up and tackle once in a while. Something you take pride in?
Yeah. I think in order to be a complete DB, you got to be able to tackle, cover, and do everything that you're asked to do.
All right, so what makes you a complete DB? Tell me the best part of Javonte Haynes' game. I went third person for you. I helped.
I want to say ball skills, but I'll probably just say coverage for real. Either or.
So that actually brings me back to pretty much my first question, but now putting it specific in coverage. So in the smaller field with more linemen now, playing defensive back, speed, quickness, be able to turn the hips, hands. What are you in this league? What do you think the priorities are?
I would say knowledge of the game.
Very good.
Knowing what's coming makes it easier to be in your spot rather than chasing and doing all that.
So when you're in the backfield, then you're looking in. What are some of the keys that you're looking for so you're a step ahead?
It depends on what we in. Most of the time, my keys is really the receiver in front of me. Just depending on what we in, to be honest, not to give away too much.
Right.
I was going to say, he's keeping the game plan a secret. Let's talk about this team as 1-1, hopefully becomes 2-1. From game 1 to game 2, obviously the scoreboard differed quite a bit. Being on the winning side, obviously the better option. But what did you notice about this team's growth, this team's change of play, this team kind of settling into its own in game 2 versus game 1?
I think the bye week really helped us gain that camaraderie with the team, coming together and playing for each other. So I think that was a real big difference. Just playing for each other and having each other's back.
So tell me this. You got another long road trip. That's 3 weeks of games being on the road. The fans miss you. Guys always want to play at home. But at the same time, teams bond, teams gel on the road. Do you not mind, or do you even, dare I say, like this long road trip to start the season?
For me, I feel like everywhere is home playing football,
That's a perfect answer right there. There's a guy you can't go wrong with in your lineup.
100% right. But tell me this. Stepping on Amsoil for the first time. Now, you guys have been over there, so it's not the first time, but the first time playing. What's that going to be like? Playing in front of the team.
It's going to be electric. It's going to be a great atmosphere for everybody, fans, players, everybody going to be in there. It's going to be a great atmosphere for everybody.
All right, so we haven't seen the atmosphere be different because we haven't seen fans in there yet. But having been somebody who's played in both arenas, what do you notice as the difference just as a player?
Actually, I haven't played in the Amsoil yet. To be
Okay,
honest.
so we're not practicing there at all.
Not yet.
Well,
we will be.
All right,
There's something
so
we
we are
learned.
waiting for the doors to open. We're learning as we go.
Absolutely.
Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook, Monsters on the mic with Javonte Haynes, Special Teams Player of the Week. Again, tell us about the special teams aspect of it, the big impact that it can have on this particular type of game.
Real big difference. If you tackle somebody in the end zone on the kickoff, that's a point. If you kick a field goal on the kickoff, that's a deuce.
I was going to say, how often are we telling our kicker to just go for that?
I be telling them all the time, to be honest.
Because we need Will Reichert in Duluth pronto.
That's absolutely correct because that guy doesn't miss. Tell me about the rebound
Hey, our
nets.
kicker doesn't miss either.
There you go.
Agent Johnson.
Future guest.
Tell me about the rebounding nets. How are those different than other places you played? How do they impact the game?
I'll say every net's different. Some of the nets is bouncy. Some of the nets don't really got that much give.
Oh.
So,
Home field advantage.
a little bit, knowing your nets.
So having played in a league that doesn't have that to a league that does have that, do you prefer this because it's not necessarily more offense, but more opportunity for the scoreboard to light up in different ways, like you were mentioning?
Yeah, for sure. The ball gets put in the air a lot, so, it gives me a chance to go get the ball, make plays, and, be the best I can be. So.
All right, so you are a defensive back like we talked about. This defense, everybody that we've talked to in 3 episodes, 2 and change now of this show, has said this defense is something special. What makes it special?
Like I was saying before, the camaraderie of the group, like just everybody gelling together, having each other's back, it's a different feeling,
So Rudy Johnson, the quarterback for Oceanside, what do we know about him at all?
Be honest with you, I don't really
Not,
care for
not
him.
much. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you said
don't
that
do-
already, that tells me you know him. What brought out that response? I don't really care for him. I don't want to give locker room bulletin board
Right, that's
material.
not the point.
But at the same time, I kind of do. Go ahead.
People are going to be listening.
Yeah.
Well,
He
give
hasn't
them a
shown
heads
us.
up.
He hasn't shown us nothing to be worried about too much.
Okay.
Definitely the next opponent, so it's the most important one.
Yep.
So we're gonna take him serious, but nothing to be super concerned about, to be honest.
So when we're watching film, what are we looking for? Are we looking for dropbacks? Are we
Yep.
looking for timing? What kind of tendencies are we trying to give away by watching film?
We'll keep.
Or we're
that
not
for
gonna
the
give that
defense.
away.
Listen to that. Very nice.
Man,
So-
close to the best. Even we don't get to know.
So it looks like the quarterback for Oceanside is their leading rusher as well. So is he pretty fleet of foot, or do they just have an offense set up for him to carry? Because our quarterback can throw. I mean, we've known that for
I'm
3
going to
years.
piggyback off that in a minute, but go ahead.
I think it could be a tale of two stories. Two things could be true at the same time.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think our D-line will definitely get the job done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you said that because it can be two things true at the same time. Because I got to ask about the other Javonte. He's got the golden arm, but he picks up a rushing touchdown in game 2. Did that surprise you, or have you known that all along and he just didn't get to use it?
You see, I knew Javonte could run for sure, but
I think we all did. He just didn't do that. Go
he
ahead.
just doesn't really
Right.
like to run that often. So when he did, it definitely caught me by surprise.
So does this league, do you think, call for that? More improvisation, more use of the legs, or is it just the play was there and he took it?
I think that play was definitely there and he took it. In this league, I feel like you can either pass or run, but in arena, you might want to pass a little bit more. It's built for that.
So back to the special teams. I know that playing back in the day, they said as a special teamer, you always have to have your head on a swivel because you don't exactly know where the next guy's coming from.
Very true.
Now you're playing in half the size field, along with bouncy nets. So tell me about a special teamer. How do you play?
Aggressive, fast. Not really thinking when you want kickoff return. You just
Yep.
go get your mans, or if you returning, you get the ball and go. It's not really too much time to think, like you
Sure.
said. The field is real small, so it's just
I like the way that he simplifies it. He's telling us basically don't overanalyze it. Take your instincts and go.
Yeah, that's true.
But let me ask you this. So you're coming in as the reigning special teams player of the week. We're talking about scouting opponents. How do you think they now scout you? How much worry do you put into an opponent with that reputation now?
I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. At the end of the day, we got to go out there and play football. You
Yep.
can watch as much film as you want. You
See,
can
I want to
study
know
as
if there's
much as you
bombers
want.
on the mic that are worried about Javonte Haynes now. That's what I want to know. They should be. If they're not, they'll get there.
Yeah, no, it's it's when you do get the recognition, though, when you have a little bit of a reputation coming into a game, they're looking for it.
Yeah, it feels good, though, getting the recognition, putting in the work and seeing it come to life.
Brian, the other thing about special teams is that that's not a place where one guy can be the difference maker. You got to have a whole team in front of you. So
definitely,
I mean, being named the guy is also a hat tip to the whole special teams outfit. So tell us about everybody tell us about a few guys on the special teams unit.
Like I said, our kicker Aiden Johnson, definitely most accurate in the league. We got Javonte Johnson, the QB, the holder. We got Charles Reed. We got everybody on the special teams, to be honest. And everybody's dogs. Everybody gets after. Everybody does their job.
That's very well said. Special teams make a special team. Round of applause for Javonte Haynes. That is one segment down of Monsters on the Mic. 2 more to go. Tell you what, Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook, let's spend them both with the head coach.
That sounds like a winner.
All right, Coach Clark is up next. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back once again to Monsters on the Mic. Again, we're here at Lyric Kitchen Bar. Dave Cook is with me. I'm Brian Prudhomme. Dave, again, explain the calendar when it comes to this show. Can you do it better than I can?
I can, because you can watch us and hear us live tonight, Wednesday nights. You can hear it live on the radio. Well, it's not live. You can hear the recording live on the radio on Thursday nights, and then right before the game, you want to get a little pregame knowledge. That's going to be right before the game. You can hear it again. You have all kinds of opportunities to hear it. Come on down and enjoy it live. Otherwise, we'll have it a couple times on the air for you.
Now, you did rather well. It's never quite simple, but we simplified it as best we can. I'll tell you who makes it simple for us, our 2 great sponsors. Thank you very much to Comfort Systems of Duluth and Sanju, where the cars are.
Absolutely, Brian. You got to have good, solid sponsors in our area to be successful. And boy, oh boy, Comfort Systems of Duluth. You're looking outside. It's 45 degrees, just about May. You need Comfort Systems of Duluth. And what can you say about Sanju besides where the cars are?
That is the best way to say it. I'll tell you this. Those are great sponsors, but greatness with teams often comes from great coaches. I got to know him with a previous team in this very city, but I think the Minnesota Monsters have themselves one heck of a head coach.
I think they do. I think they have a head coach who's invested in this particular sport. And the insides and outsides that we're going to get here in a minute is going to be great.
Without a doubt. We could give him his flowers all day, but let's let him give himself some flowers. Daron Clark Jr., the head coach of the Minnesota Monsters. It's good to see you, my man. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Very good, very good. Coming off a victory. That's got to feel pretty good. What was the thought process after win number 1? Because we saw the Selly, we saw Jake Lambert get soaked, but your thought was first of many, I assume.
Oh, yeah, we're very excited. I'm glad my guys went out there and played all 3 phases of the game, and we played together.
So talk about the vitality of the 3 phases, because every football coach will tell you that. But I think people that look at arena football, they go, this is all about offense. It's not.
Oh, yeah, arena football is made for offense, but if my defense give me 4 stops, we should win the game. And on special teams, we have a great return to Shannon Brooks. We have Charles Reed, and on kickoff team, if they get down there and tackle the guy in the end zone, it'll be 2 points. Also, my kicker, if he hit it the deuce, it'll be 2 points. And if we do a drop kick, that'll be 4 points. So them points, they adds up at the end.
I like this. I think there could be a lot of bad plays on words. We could have the Monsters dropping a deuce on everybody, and that should catch on for all the right reasons.
You certainly could.
I finally got a laugh out of the crowd. It took a moment. Now, I got to ask you this. You just named a plethora of special team standouts. Mm-hmm. You left out the one that the league said, I'll tell you what, that was the best one of the week. We just talked to him, Javonte Haynes. What did he do for you that earned that special teams player of the week honor?
Oh, he always have his nose on the ball. He always around the ball. He block well. He get down there and make tackles. And he also a great jack. So you had to be ready for him on defense, too, as well.
Yeah.
We love to see that. Talk a little bit about your leader. We talked to him in the very first show because it feels like everybody that knows Duluth knows Javonte Johnson. The continuity of that position in this city's got to be a good thing.
Oh, yeah, Javonte, he's a great leader. All the guys, they follow him. He do everything he had to do to get better for the next week. We work on, getting our concepts together, and we got injuries on the receiver side of the ball. So we making sure we got all the guys on the same page, and he do that with me because he's the coach on the field.
Right. All right, so take me through the work week, if you will, for the Monsters. We know you got a Sunday game. Does that hamper your progress or change your progress during the week? It's a difference of roughly a day. It's usually a Saturday game, but the calendar leading up, does it change your weekly workout, if you will?
Oh, no, we up 7 o'clock in the morning practicing, and then we watching film, we working out. I just had the guys in the sand pit. We making sure we learn our opponents before we get there. We have Mondays off so their body can get well, and then we get on the road on Fridays.
All right, so I'm curious. I don't know if you are, but he said the sand pit. There are players here, and everybody nodded immediately. I thought maybe that was a basketball arena in New Mexico or an old restaurant in Canal Park. What is the sand pit for those that don't know?
Oh, the sand pit is where they play volleyball at right here on the beach. I make sure my guys in the sand pit like twice a week because at the back end of the season, we be the team that's on top and we never be tired. It worked last year, and we never was tired.
Right.
And I put my guys through the workout today, my receivers and my quarterbacks, and their legs should be hurting. They should be somewhere asleep right now.
That's a different sort of cross-training, but I like it. And you're right, conditioning has been one of the biggest things. We can talk all we want about offense, defense, special teams. Sometimes it's the guys that have the motor that just doesn't run out.
Oh, no, they don't. We work hard every day. We making sure we on top of everything when it comes to our team. We making sure we building a great culture. We finding our identity right now. And I have a lot of guys that help each other out when it comes to on and off the field situations. So it's HBO. Help a brother out.
Very true, very true.
I'm never going to watch TV the same. I'm going to see HBO on the screen and go, wait a minute, that's not what that means.
Well, you got to put Max underneath that then.
Yeah, there's that.
All right, Coach, so let's talk about next week's opponent or this week's opponent. What are you seeing? What's the offense like? We were talking earlier, the quarterback seems to have, he's a leading runner. Obviously, he's a leading passer. That tends to be a lot for a team to take care of one guy.
Oh, yeah, our defensive line going to get after him. The defensive line, the heart of our defense.
Yeah.
And everybody on the back end, they know that all they do is just play. They roll on the back end, and the ball come to them. We have Claude Davis, Shy Hill.
Yep.
We have Ricky, Justin Rose. We're going to give an opportunity this week. And we have Robert Fuentes. He's have a high motor. He one of the great leaders on the D-line. They're going to get after him this week.
They do have a snort, Brian, that defensive line.
Yeah, they definitely do. You mentioned Shy Hill. He was such an impact on a previous team. His ability to get at the quarterback, just get off the ball, is second to none. How would you diagnose his game?
Oh, he's small. He's a smaller D lineman, and he's very quick. And he know how to get around the ball, be around the ball all the time. His nose is always around the ball. So with the guys that he have with him, like Claude Davis and Robert Fuentes, who give him pressure to open it up for him and help him a lot.
Claude takes up some room. We learned that a couple episodes ago, didn't we? He can really get after it. You talked about playing your role and knowing your role. Your role as the head coach, new to you, at least in this town. How does that change what you do on a given day or on game day itself? Because the head guy, the last call is yours. Different role for you here.
Oh, I'm in the office every day. I'm getting ready for the next team, like pressure. I'm having all my coaches in there getting ready. We're looking at film, doing the roster. We making sure we have the doctor and traveling well on the way to our next game, and we be ready when we get there.
I got to ask because he's a leader as well, but what's it like having your GM, CEO right over your left shoulder as you're doing
Staring
interviews?
at you.
He can be support, but he can be staring you down as well. Talk about what it's like to work with Mr. Lemon, as I would prefer to call him.
Look.
Yeah, because they don't look right at him. Don't
great to
directly
work.
give him those flowers. Don't look right at him.
Yeah, it's great to work with Mr. Lemon. He's always on me. He making sure I'm in line. He making sure I have everything done on time, and I need that.
All right, that's fair. So with this league, every team that you play, we got comments from the peanut gallery. He's coming back at you. But with this league, every team that you play is a brand new opponent, at least for this go-around.
Yeah.
How much do you know about these teams going in, and where can you get that from? Because everybody says watching film. That can only give you so much. How do you prepare for teams that, obviously the city 5-6 months ago knew nothing about?
Arena football, everything the same. Everybody just have different terminology. I have a great defensive coordinator who played this game for 13 years, and he know where the guys need to be, and he helped me with the game when I was a rookie. So it's good to have a defensive coordinator like that.
You need leaders across the way. So let's hear a little bit about your defensive coordinator and how he leads that side of the ball, which to everybody that we've spoken to so far this year, has said your defense is ridiculous. So tell us a little bit about the head coach or the head coach of the defense.
Oh, Larachi Jackson, he played 13 years. He played with the Jacksonville Sharks in the AFL day when they won championships, and Cleveland Gladiators when we were teammates. He know the coverages in and out, and he know where the receivers going to be at. And because he showed me how to run routes and get open as a receiver. So
I've seen him do it pregame. He's still got it.
So with our defense, our thing is to, put pressure on the quarterback and everybody communicate on the back end, and he have that voice and he have that energy that they need on that side of the ball.
Very cool.
We are talking with the head coach, Daron Clark Jr. Make sure I get the junior in.
Yeah, yes, sir.
But, Coach, it's cliche when people say, well, teams adopt the personality of a head coach. If the Minnesota Monsters were to do that, or if they have already, tell us what that is. What is your personality as a leader of football?
Oh, I'm a player's guy. I just retired in 2023, so I'm just like them. And I get out there and I run routes myself to show them what I want. They love the energy I bring, and they feed off of it.
All right, so maybe I'm kidding, maybe I'm not. But you already said we have injuries on the wide receiver side. You just retired. Can we get you back on an active roster at some point?
I haven't been hit in 5 years.
There would be the difference right there.
Well, we on the Saturday morning, the Northland Sports page that we have every Saturday morning at 10, we have a guest, Fancy Glenn, who's on our show. Used to be safety for the Saints, for the Patriots, and for the Vikings. And he always said that's the one thing when you see guys not playing early, they get hurt because they haven't been hit, and your body's got to get accustomed to being hit.
So my first time pulling my hamstring, I was 36. And after that, I was like, nah, I got to let this go.
I was going to say, 36 came crawling to you in a hurry at that point. Is that the biggest adjustment for every player that you get? Because obviously you've got some Arena League veterans. You've talked about that. But guys that might be newer to this, is it the first time that they get, quote-unquote, smacked in the mouth, where it's a welcome to the league type moment?
Oh, no, it's how you take care of your body, how you eat. Lift weights, you got to go to yoga, and do what you have to do to take care of your body. I did that twice a week when I was playing. I always played at a great weight at 185, and when I pulled my hamstring, I wasn't ready for that pain, so I let it go.
That's fair.
So the NFL is
I get
one in the
that.
trenches. We understand that. But AF1 has a bigger trench. Now, Dave talked about there's more linemen than we're used to seeing, but it's a speed game as well. Where is this game won? Is it on defense? Is it through the air? Is it the team that can actually establish the run? Or is it in the trenches, just like most football, even though this is, quote-unquote, so different?
If the defense give us 3 to 4 stops, we should win the game because we have an offense that can score every drive. And if special teams put some deuces up and we get some good tackles on kickoff, we'll win the game.
So I'm going to start counting when I'm doing the PA work for home games. I'm going to have the fans with me. All right, that's 1 stop. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. This should be over now.
Yeah.
All right, so with that.
When you're PAing, you're going to have to get all these fans something to toss. So then when they throw a deuce up, you can have them throw something.
Boy, I don't know. That could be a lot of dangerous play on words. I already talked about that.
Or we can get some topper pieces and
There
give
you
them
go.
to the fans.
There you go. Curtis has been good to us for a long time. So let me ask you this. Who's got the more pressure or the more expectation? Because you said 4 stops, we're going to win. Is the pressure to get the 4 stops? Or is the pressure in, okay, we got 4. Where's my offense on this?
The pressure always on offense because it's arena football. They give us our 4 stop, we need to score the ball. But if they score 2 on defense, they help a lot.
So let's flip it over then. Let's talk about some of the offensive players that we haven't had a chance to visit about. Now, we all know about Javonte, but tell us a little bit about what you've experienced with Shannon Brooks and what you think makes Shannon, a pro like you want to have on your team.
Oh yeah, he's a hard-nosed runner. He can return. He can catch the ball. He's a complete back. And having Shannon, it give us like 2 phases of football. They have to worry about the running game and then they open up the passing game.
Sure. So then with Shannon, we were talking a little bit about the difference as a running back between hitting the hole and bouncing outside in a bigger field and having to make the spot decision and just go in this league. So as an offensive player, somebody who's done that, what do you see as the biggest difference in play calling?
I preach that to him every day to just get the ball and just go because coming from the league he came from, he had enough time to have patience and find a hole.
Yeah.
But in this game, he had to stay tight to the hole, and soon he see Allie just hit it. And that's going to be a good change that he made, and he's going to become an MVP running back in the league.
MVP running back. I like to hear that associated with Shannon Brooks. So does the Ultimate Gopher fan. Whether or not that's Dave Cook or Jake Lambert, we can decide. Meanwhile, I'm Brian Prudhomme. I just like the Gophers. But Daron Clark Jr., the head coach of the Monsters, I want to ask you a little bit as it relates to Shannon. Some people will hear about a guy that has a good D1 reputation, and they'll automatically think, okay, that guy's going to be a good arena football player because he's just playing a good football player. Is all of it transferable? If you've done well 11 on 11, you're going to do well here? Or are the guys that can't make the transition or guys that maybe struggled at one and do better here?
Oh, no, you have to learn the arena game. A lot of guys come down from the NFL and think they could play arena. It'd be bad for some of them, but some guys, they can. Like one of the greatest receivers, Peter Ward, he played in Bloomington. He played with LaRoche in Bloomington, and he did okay, but he didn't do like he did at Florida State.
He wasn't Florida State. He wasn't Cincinnati's Peter Warwick, yeah.
But it take adjustment to arena football because that wall undefeated.
Right. Well, I was just going to say, so what's the adjustment that most can't make? It's got to be something more than just getting smoked by a wall. There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, that wall. A lot of guys, they're not used to how narrow the field is, so it take them like 5 to 6 weeks to get used to it.
You know, it's funny, Brian. I'm thinking, so I do a lot of hockey up here, and I'm thinking like a hockey player right now. There's guys who don't want to be on the board.
Yeah.
There's guys who, they perimeter it, right? They play 4 or 5 feet off the puck or the board, and they'll reach for the puck because they don't want to get hit.
Yeah.
I would guess there's some folks that you've seen come down the pike who the same thing. They see that wall, and they're like, I'll run the in route. Don't make me run an out route.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a lot of rookies that come in, and when we throw them balls toward the wall, they always slow down when they get to the wall. But the guys that play the game, they're going to go over the wall and do whatever they get.
Yeah, there's a difference between a wide receiver and an outfielder. Outfielders are feeling for the wall going, no, thank you. Wide receivers are going through it. I'll tell you this, though, the Minnesota Monsters would run through a wall for Daron Clark Jr. Round of applause. That's segment number 2. We like him so much, we're going to have him stick around and close the show with us. Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook, Monsters on the mic at Lyric Kitchen Bar. Stick around. We will be right back. Welcome back to Monsters on the mic. Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook, and the Monsters head coach, Daron Clark Jr. We're here at Lyric Kitchen Bar on a Wednesday. Lyric Kitchen Bar, the place to be on a Wednesday. Time to hear the show is Thursday night, but also Saturdays before the games, Sundays before the games. Monday we've got a game this year. The schedule's all over the map.
It is, and that's one of the best things about having Coach here, because one of the things we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about our opponent, how we go ahead and play that team. So when you're watching the game, you can kind of get a feel for it.
Absolutely, because, again, nobody in Duluth knows much about these opponents yet. To be fair, nobody in Duluth knows enough about the Minnesota Monsters yet because we haven't gotten to see you at home.
No home game.
That's still a few weeks away. But the Oceanside trip, first of all, that'll be a trek in itself. But what do you expect us to see from the Bombers?
Oh, the Bombers, they're going to have a running quarterback, so our guys got to make sure we watch the quarterback. Our defense, I think we got the best defensive line in the league, so all we got to do is put pressure on them.
So, Coach, one of the things I heard this week talking about one of the players in the draft, they said that the reason his numbers are down is because they run more of an umbrella defensive line where the goal is to keep the quarterback in the pocket and not let him run around. Now, we're not playing that kind of game, are we?
Oh, no, we're playing our game, what we work on all week or go against them. We have a great scout team to show us what we want.
Oh, perfect.
Now, how much of that can you tell us? Because segment 1 with Javonte Haynes, the answer was nothing. It was like trying to get answers out of a private detective. You're just not going to. Is there anything you can disclose at this point that you're doing differently that's specific to the Bombers, or something that's part of your game plan, or is that when you get to the field you'll find out?
Our game plan is to play fast with urgency and accountability. That's the only thing we could do. We make changes every week, so they'll have to adjust to what we're doing. Speaking
of adjustments, I'm going to go back before we go forward. What did you like about this team in the second game that maybe wasn't there in week 1? Because as I told Javonte, obviously the score was different, the outcome was different. What kind of growth, what kind of adjustments did you like from your team? Or was it just, hey, we played the same football, we just played it better than our opponent this time around?
Urgency. We came out with urgency. We knew what we wanted, and we knew what we worked for all week. So the guys came out, like he said, like Javonte said, they played together. That off week that we had, it helped bring the guys together. We let the guys go bowling so they can build up their brotherhood alone, and they came out and play football.
Well, I never thought that I would make a segue off of a bowling question, but I will. I'm not going to say who had the best game because we'll find that out eventually because we can see guys laughing already. But the camaraderie of this team has been brought up multiple times already.
Yeah.
You got to like what you see because, Dave, you've said it, I've said it, everybody said it. Teams that like each other tend to play better. You got a good group here.
So you'll remember the word HBO.
Yeah, help a brother out.
It's very big in our locker room, and we make sure guys are real tight. We have a lot of all-stars on the team. Like me and Coach, we always argue about it every day. Like, man, we have a locker room full of all-stars, so it's hard to say who going to play. So we do what we have to do, like throughout the week on offense and defense to have the guys compete on who's going to play the next week. So going into this game, we know we're going in with 25 dogs who are going to play football all 4 quarters.
An embarrassment of riches sounds like a nice problem.
You know, Brian, you talked about a sense of urgency. This team also really puts its will on another team. You know, you can just hear when he says 25 dogs coming. They're not coming. They're going to play with urgency. They're going to play quickly, but they're going to decide how this game plays out. They're going to make that call.
Without a doubt. Now, I'm going to ask you a question where the easy answer is going to be, I don't care, and it's perfectly acceptable as an answer. But you've got a locker room full of all-stars, yet the league knows that you're the new kids on the block. How do you think this team is viewed league-wide when it's, we're playing Minnesota, it's an expansion team, this is going to be a walk in the park, or is it, look at that roster, we're in trouble?
No, we know we're in this alone, so we just go in and play our game.
Yep.
We're not going to be no domats, though. We going to go in this league and represent.
I do think that there's got to be some of that in the league, though. They see the Monsters coming. They're like, these guys.
Yeah.
We'll take care of them, and then we got a game next week. It's going to be a surprise for them.
Yeah,
So
their hand going to be full every week when they see us.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that's what I wondered, because this group, the guys that I do know, there's never been a problem with chip on shoulder.
Yeah.
That kind of treatment, that kind of perspective. How big is that chip right now?
The chip very big. That first week, it opened our eyes. So after that loss, all us came together as a team, not just coaches, the front office, the whole team. We came together, and we said we weren't going to let that happen again. And y'all going to see a different game every week. Y'all going to see a different team every week. And we're very serious, and we want it. That's it.
I think that's pretty apparent right there.
Yeah, imposing their will.
Exactly. So as a road team, the cliche with sports is it's never how you start, it's how you finish. But you talked about urgency. Are we going to know a lot about how a game's going to go in the first quarter? Or is it just each game plays out differently?
Every game going to play out different. In arena football, you don't know what'll happen. Like I preached to these guys before last game, we worked on that touchdown that Donovan caught off the net. We did that in pregame to get them ready for something like that to happen. So in arena football, you never know what'll happen. You can be down by 14. Like I tell them, they can kick the ball off and it can hit the net. Then we get it back, touchdown. We down by a touchdown, then it can happen again. And then we down. Then
I just can't wait till we're down one and kicking off because we're going to win it on a kickoff at some point.
Yeah, you know, because we've got the best kicker in the league.
We do. I've heard
there
that.
You go.
I read Howie Hanson's website.
Yeah,
I believe we've got the
absolutely.
best kicker in the league without a question. So we've focused on the positivity because we like to do that. But tell me this. What are parts of your team's game that aren't where you want them to be yet? What are things that you think this needs to improve quickly?
We just had to fix the small things. That's it. It's just a little fix that we need. And other than that, we good.
How do you wrap the new guys in, Coach? You said, that there's some competition in the wide receiver room this week. How do you bring in new players and get them engaged in your culture?
Who could process information fast, who buy ins, and understand what we want when they come in. I only have 3 rookies, so it's good to have a lot of veterans who know the game.
Absolutely.
So we're just coming in and hitting the ground running.
Speaking of hitting the ground running, this guy hits the ground hard and runs hard. He got into the lineup late, but he's not new to Duluth at all. Travis Whitlock, I'll give you the floor to just talk about what he brings.
Oh, he run with a passion. He like a big bully ball.
Yes.
He just run through you. It's great to have a guy that play rugby on a team that like to take contact, and that's his position, fullback and center. So he's like the Iron Man player.
We always want a good QB center relationship. You put Travis with Javonte. I think you got that.
Oh, yeah. Also, we have Boyd. He's a great veteran. He's that guy that can play center and nose guard as well. His energy is very high, and he's the captain of the offensive line.
Yeah, when you're playing both ways, regardless of which football you're playing, you're playing both ways. You do have a lot of energy and you've been conditioned.
You better.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the road crowds to this point, because we hope, and I think we know, because Zach's here, I think we know that Duluth likes to get loud, and eventually they will. But you've gone into hostile environments. What was the atmosphere like in Albany against the Arsenal? And what do you expect in terms of they've got a good fan base, or maybe they don't, with Oceanside?
So with Albany, that's my first time hearing the arena be silent that first half. That's when I knew that we had a team, and we just had to fix our small mistakes that we made in the second half. Going into Michigan, they had a lot of great fans. They booed us a lot. But
that was going to be my next question.
That's all right.
Is there a rivalry there that's one game old, but it's there?
Yeah, it was a lot of good boos because we were scoring touchdowns. And going into Oceanside, they have 5,000 in venue. So I know they're going to come and play some football. And we're going out there early so we can get used to the altitude. So my guys can be, get a lot of IV in them so they can be okay during the game. And when we come home, we're going to have a lot of fans. I think it's going to be a great sellout. But being on the road, the first 4 games, I think that's good because we're getting the road games out the way. And on the back end, when we have home games, if we be first place in the playoff, we'll end up with a first place home game.
I was going to say, you go from 5 straight on the road to basically living at home this summer.
Yeah.
We know the guys that we know because some of them are left over from the previous franchise. You've dropped a lot of names as we've talked to you. Who are some of the guys we haven't talked about yet that we should be?
It's a sneak out that I think going to be Charles Reed, Roundel, last name Roundel, DeVille Roundel, Odom, LD, receiver, Ladarian.
He does a lot.
Yeah. Javonte Haynes.
Yeah, well, we gave him his 15 minutes of fame, literally. I think that segment was 15
Donovan
minutes.
Johnson.
All good hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donovan Johnson, and also signed Mo Strong back.
Oh, all right.
Oh, wow. So that's a very familiar name there. That's probably due to some of the injuries on the receiving corps.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I saw his name today at work. I was like, I wonder what Mo's doing. Now I know.
Now we know. We'll blink and he'll be there. So when you're on the road, in the NFL, people would say, well, we're going to establish the ground game first. You're not going to give anything away because Javonte will be mad, but are you going to come out and go deep on play one, or what are we looking for in terms of starting the game?
Oh, now we're reading their defense. Make sure my quarterback taking pre-snap reads.
Sure.
And we're going to take what they give us.
When you have the quarterback with that kind of decision-making skill, what do you ask him to look for? Like, you don't have to talk about the offense specifically, but what are his eyes looking for to make that decision on a run or a pass?
Make the reads. Make the pre-snap read. Watch the cornerbacks and how they setting on the field before you say hike or whatnot. And also read the MAC linebacker and make a smart decision if you want to change it to a run, because I always give my quarterback
all of that
plays.
in about 5 seconds, by the way.
Yeah.
How quick can you do all of that?
Yeah.
Having seen Javonte in one league and now having him in this one, we talked to him about adjustments. We talked to him about challenges. How have you assessed his game to this point? How is he adjusting to this league?
Oh, he's adjusting well. He just got to throw the spot balls, believe in the receivers, and that's it.
I asked Javonte, I got to ask you. I asked Javonte Haynes, that is. I got to ask you about Javonte Johnson, the runner. We didn't see that before. All of a sudden last week we did.
Oh, I knew he can do it because he been in that sand pit with me. And he been getting a lot of work this offseason. So I knew he can do it. In arena football, it's only a 50-yard field. So if you run and give me 7 yards, we still got 43 yards to go. And then you give me 10 yards, then we almost by the end zone. 25-yard line is the half of the field.
I like it. It's 4 stops. It's 4 first downs. It's that simple.
Yeah. Well, football isn't a complicated game.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. You got 4 stops, you got 4 first downs, and you're going to look okay.
That's fair. All right, how would you simplify being a head coach versus being a coordinator as you were before?
Being a head coach, I was a head coach in Cedar Rapids in 2024 and a GM, so I'm used to being a head coach. And I went to Carolina as an OC before I came here. So I just watched the front office, and I learned what goes on in the front office on the business side and being a coach. So being a coach.
Being a GM, too.
Well,
how much talent evaluating are you doing as you're watching everybody? Haven't done that before.
Being a GM was getting out in the community, getting sponsorships, and being a coach and taking care of uniforms and everything that has something to do
So
with
you're
all
okay
this
leaving that up to
X's
Lemon and
O's.
company at this point?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
All right, so again, it's Monsters on the mic as we prepare for the road trip to Oceanside. I promise eventually this team's going to come home.
Sooner or later, right? That's we've talked about that the most is how in the world, how long are they going to be gone, and what is the first crowd going to be like?
Well, and besides shows like this, you talked about getting out into the community. What are some of the things that you guys have done or are doing to keep the community in the zone with you, if you will, despite not playing here?
I've been training all the kids here during the off season, and our players, they went to elementary school yesterday.
Sure.
And we went to a YMCA or a Boys and Girl Club downtown Duluth with the kids. And we just been getting out, and when they see the guys, they be excited. They be ready for us to come home. And by them watching the game on live, every time they see us in the community, they just be so excited to see the new players that we brought in.
You know, Brian, one of the things that I've seen over time when I'm working is when you get the pros with kids. And you play with them, or you do something.
I just
with
want to
them.
see a 6-year-old see Claude Davis and go, whoa.
Right, but then when he goes home, he tells mom and dad he wants to go see Claude. It's no
Right.
longer the football team; it's that guy. You've made that relationship, and that's cool that you're going to do that.
Yeah, like a week ago, we went to Proctor to a soccer game and watched one of the kids I trained play. Aiden and some more of the other players, they went with me. And when the kids seen them, they were just stuck on them.
Absolutely.
They was around them like 30 minutes just talking football.
That's perfect. So let's talk football to close it out. May 22nd, this team will finally get home. I'm going to give you the floor. Tell the fans, tell the community why they should come, what they should expect when they do.
Come see the greatest show on turf. Be ready for some hard-nosed football, all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. When y'all hear the ball get kicked off, we want to hear the fans saying deuce, 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 deuce.
As the
And make
PA
sure-
guy, I can get that going. It'll be the weirdest chant I've ever started, but I will volunteer. It'll be like working at the outhouses. I'll be chanting the same thing, but it'll work.
Yeah, so we want to make sure our kicker, Aiden Johnson, get them deuces, and we need the fans, our ninth man, because we the eighth man on the field.
All right, there you have it. Daron Clark Jr., the head coach of the Minnesota Monsters. We appreciate you. We appreciate Javonte Haynes. Dave Cook, I appreciate you as well.
Yeah,
That'll do it for this episode of Monsters on the Mic. We will talk to you in a week. Go Monsters.